little while since I've done one of these, so forgive me
5 seconds.
if I don't
4 or 5 seconds.
exactly how long I should wait. But hi, I'm Eric Allen. I'm here with Joe Drilling.
Well, you know something, Monsoon? Why do you gotta go eat a hot dog in between every commercial?
Are you up to the challenge? Let's wrestle, says virtual Jesse the Body Ventura. Alex Rio's also here.
Yo.
This is Genesis or Genesisn't, where I play a Genesis game and tell you if it's good or not, or if I liked it or not, I guess, more accurately.
Yes, that is more accurate.
Well, whatever. As everyone knows, I'm the ultimate arbiter of quality of all things. So, anyway, this is Jesse the Body Ventura Wrestling Superstars, which is an unreleased. I guess this is a ROM of like the European version of this game or something.
Maybe it's
almost listed as a Mega
version.
Drive game, I believe. So, and as you can see below me, there is no box art for this game. This is
but there were ads.
This is an advertisement from the
Death Hand.
from the June-July 1991, I think, issue of Mega Play, which is a video game magazine that I don't know what it is. I've never heard of it.
It was a British okay. Genesis magazine.
Yes. I don't know, maybe at the end of this, we'll glance through this magazine real quick, because I got the whole PDF.
Oh, nice.
That might be fun. So anyway, yeah. Joe tells me this is it's meant to be an international conversion of a Fire Pro game into a form that people that aren't from Japan would recognize.
This was going to be the first. This was going to be the first Fire Pro game to get a international release, and it was canceled allegedly because
I really love this animation of Jesse speaking in this.
Yeah, it's totally great.
Oh wow!
So allegedly, this was canceled because Jesse the Body signed with WCW, and they were not going to let him
options.
They were not going to let him have his own video game outside of WCW's purview, which is weird because WCW is actually really bad when it came to their like. I was talking to our friend Eric, the Dirty Dog Darcy, on his podcast not that long ago about this because we did a match from a WCW Super Brawl, and he was like, "What do you think about WCW Super Brawl wrestling on the Super Nintendo?" And I was like, "It's garbage, but it has the most amazing character select screen, possibly of any video game ever, particularly of any Super Nintendo video game."
Hold on, we'll get back to that. We should go through this roster real quick.
We should go through this.
So we have Jesse, we have Sumo.
What's he do?
So. Most of these guys are.
I'm gonna go through the roster. Hang on, I'm gonna reset this.
Okay, much like.
So this isn't like in this attract mode thing at the beginning. Like there were last names for these guys. Like Sumo was named Sumo Warrior.
Yeah.
But
character limits, man.
Yeah. So Jesse, we have Sumo, who looks suspiciously like a certain world champion Samoan wrestler for the WWF.
He is not that world champion Samoan wrestler, though. He also looks suspiciously like a very popular Japanese wrestler.
We have somebody named Rockin', apostrophe, no G. I don't know who that's supposed to be. What do you think, Joe? You want to take a guess?
So I think that Sumo is supposed to be Riki Choshu, if memory serves.
Okay.
I can't really tell who Rockin' is supposed to be. They must have changed the graphics.
He kind of looks like Rick Martel.
He does kind of look like Rick Martel, but I don't know. Well, let me see. I can find out. So this game was known as Thunder Pro Wrestling Retsuden.
There's someone named Death who I don't know, that mask looks familiar, but I can't place the person that's supposed to be. I like so there's someone
that is definitely supposed to be Jushin Thunder Liger.
And there's Storm,
the only man
who's Yuji Nagata, right? No,
probably. I'm looking for an actual roster. I'm looking for game facts.
There's someone that's named Blade, who is like the blaxploitation version of Jerry Lawler, which is real good.
Mm-hmm. Let's see here. So Yeah, Jushin Thunder Liger, by the way, the only wrestler to be included in every single edition of the PWI 500.
There's someone named
Fun fact
Stan
about
who I
it.
think we could probably guess who that's supposed to be.
Probably Stan. The Lariat Hansen.
And that's it. That's the whole roster. There's not a lot of people in this game.
There's not a big roster, yeah. Let's see here. Okay, so it tells me what they're... Okay, so it looks like Jesse replaced Inoki.
Okay.
Because, that's how you do it. So that is definitely Jushin Thunder Liger.
Right.
Sumo is Riki Choshu.
Okay.
I think. No, sorry. The Rockin' is Riki Choshu.
Okay.
Sumo is Genichiro Tenryu.
Mm-hmm. I don't know who that is, but okay.
He actually was in WWE as he was the actual Japanese guy in the Orient Express before they just made it like two American guys. Like it was Pat Tanaka and Riki Choshu, Pat Tanaka and Genichiro Tenryu. And then Tenryu went back.
Still bitter about Goldberg stealing his theme music.
Yeah. And then I think Tenryu went back to the US. So they got Paul Diamond, who had previously been Pat Tanaka's partner at Bad Company in the AWA. So basically, the Orient Express was Bad Company again. And they put him under a mask and called Paul Diamond Kato. Paul Diamond was also the second Max Moon after Conan went back to Mexico in WWE. So fun fact. Let's see. One of these guys is Jumbo Tsuruta and Akira Maeda. And let's see, Super Strong Machine, which I'm trying to remember which machine that was, but I think that was Bill Eadie or Demolition Axe, I think was Super Strong Machine, but I could be wrong about that. Stan Hansen is definitely...
Flame supposed to be Vader?
Yes, that is definitely, I think... No, actually, one of them is Vader and one of them is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Okay,
so...
I'm going to say Bomber is... I don't know which one's supposed to be Bam Bam Bigelow. None of these, I never would have guessed any of these were Bam Bam Bigelow.
And then one
Bigelow
of them
didn't
is...
wear a mask, right?
No,
Flame is definitely Vader.
One of them is Hulk Hogan and one of them is Kensuke Sasaki.
In this
and
game?
That's yeah.
What?
Apparently.
So Stan is Hulk Hogan? And Jones is...
Oh, I think Jones is Stan Hansen.
Stan Hansen,
and,
yeah.
And Stan is Hulk Hogan.
And so Bomber is supposed to be Bam Bam Bigelow?
I think Bomber is Bam Bam Bigelow.
Did
and
Bam Bam
Flame
Bigelow ever have
Vader.
like that weird like Fu Manchu thing and a tattoo in his
No.
head? Okay.
No, definitely
All right.
not.
Well, whatever.
They wanted to make sure they were not going to get sued for
right,
sure.
I want to be Blaxploitation Lawler. I don't know who that's supposed to be. I don't. It looks like.
What's his name?
His name is Blade.
Which
So he's also a vampire
Unknowns.
hunter.
Yes, absolutely. Upper right on the second player select screen.
Yep.
Let's see here. Upper right on the second player is in the Japanese in Thunder Pro Wrestling, the Japanese Mega Drive version. He's known as Buster Ryukiba.
Okay.
And Buster Ryukiba is Akira Maeda, famous Japanese wrestler.
Did you see me just suplex that motherfucker out of the ring?
That is, I don't have very many criticisms about Fire Pro games, but if I have one, it's that it's way too easy to toss people out of the ring. Like when you play a Royal Rumble, like there's in Fire Pro World, which I'm going to stream maybe this weekend because my new computer is supposed to be here on Saturday. So I think I'm gonna, or you know what? Maybe before Fastlane, we should hang out and I'll stream some Fire Pro World. Before
I'm supposed to do a. Ooh, I just pile drove that guy. I'm supposed to do a podcast with Mr. Dirty Dog Darcy Sunday also, but I don't know when exactly. How do I do things in this game, Joe? How do I play this game?
So when you lock up, there's an animation of you like hooking up, and then I think you bend your knees or something. There's like an animation when you touch the other guy, and when that frame happens, you have to hit a direction and a button, and you'll do a grapple move. But you have to. So it's timing based. It's not button mashy like a lot of
pretty
WWE
much all
games
wrestling games.
Yeah, like most other wrestling games. So it's all timing based.
Oops, I missed that drop kick.
And once you master the timing, the game actually becomes kind of easy. And the solution to that in later installments is that winning and losing are less important than having a good match. So even though you can execute a move pretty much whenever you want once you master the timing, like just steamrolling your opponent, like the audience doesn't like the match if you squash the guy, so you have to like have better matches. Yeah, there's like a challenge mode in Fire Pro World where some of the matches you have to get a certain audience rating, and if you don't get 70% of the audience liking the match, then you're not successful and you can't move on to the next challenge. But as I was saying earlier, some of the challenges involve winning battle royals, and in that case, it's just super easy because like a regular body slam near the ropes just like tosses them out. So, yeah,
I won.
Nice. So yeah, so this game, Ventura was going to WCW, and so they said you can't do it. Apparently, is the story that I'm told.
Because why would they want a good wrestling game associated with their brand?
Right, and as I started saying earlier before we went through the character select screen, there were only 3 WCW video games, prior to the Nitro era, basically, and on the NES there were 4 or 5 WWF games. It was WrestleMania Challenge, WrestleMania Steel Cage Challenge, King of the Ring. So there were 4 WWF games on the NES. There were 3 on the Game Boy. At least. Maybe 4. There were,
I just keep German suplexing this guy. I'm fucking Brock Lesnar. Blaxploitation King Brock Lesnar. Welcome to Suplex City, whatever your name was, I forget.
Death Mask or something, wasn't it? Something. Just, Suplex City, bitch.
I think I put it on.
But WCW, there was 1 NES game, there was 1 Super NES game, and there was 1 Game Boy game. And that's it. They really, WCW was not like, and no Genesis. They did no Genesis games. There's not a single Genesis game associated with WCW. So it's weird that they would swoop in and be like, no, you can't do that. It's not like they had something else that they had in the pipeline.
Sorry. This Storm guy is Masahiro Chono. It finally came to me who he looks like.
Oh yeah, he does look like Chono.
Yeah.
Except I don't think Chono's in this game, is he?
I don't know, but that's like, if you look at that pixelated photograph, it looks like Chono to me. Like it looks a lot like. Actually, it looks like NWO era Chono, and I don't know what Chono would have looked like in '91. So it's possible that it's not him.
I think that's that might be Jumbo Tsuruta. That's supposed to be.
Maybe.
Really weird.
I don't know. I only know like the handful of Japanese wrestlers that made it here are super famous, like Muda or whatever. But
right. It's also weird that Muda's not a character in this game.
I was going to say that.
Oh, actually, this is when he was in the U.S. This game came out when he was wrestling in WCW, I think, mostly, and was like the WCW champion. So I think they might have just, as a Japanese game, they may have not. But Hogan's in it, so I don't know. Who knows?
It's not Hogan. It's Stan.
Yes,
and
right.
Then Stan Hansen's in it, but his name is not. His name is something else.
That's right. So you might notice that the animations in this game, some of them are suspiciously similar to, and this game like less so than the first like PC Engine game, but some of these animations are suspiciously similar to the animations in NES Pro Wrestling.
Shit.
I
lost. I couldn't remember how to get back in the ring.
Yeah, some of the animations in this game are suspiciously similar to those found in NES Pro Wrestling, and that's because the lead designer on the early Fire Pro games was the same guy who was the lead designer on NES Pro Wrestling. And so he sort of redrew and modified the animations to make them work for Fire Pro. This game was set to be published, as you can see on the canvas, by DreamWorks, who actually was like not a super long-lived Genesis publisher, but they did put out some good stuff. They put out one of the Assault Suits games, like Cybernator on the Super NES is part of the Assault Suits series, and Target Earth on the Genesis. Target Earth? Is that what it's called? That's what it's called. I have a copy of it, I should know the name, but that was another one of the Assault Suits. Same series as Cybernator. They put that out in the US. They put out the Genesis port of Fire Shark in the US, which is an early shooter, but a really good one on the Genesis.
Oh, I think they have a difficult time doing moves other than pile driver, suplex, and...
If you press usually in these games, it's if you press left or right, plus the button, and up or down, plus the button. when you lock up, that is a different move. So usually you have like 6 or 8, different
Down
move, like
and
A
B
button,
does that.
B button. Like A will do. It was weak. I don't remember exactly in this game.
I don't know. Every
It's
time
A,
I
B, C,
do, every
weak
time I
to
hit,
hard-
I like your
strong.
mustache.
every time I hit B, I do a suplex, and then I do this German suplex when I hit C.
Well, actually, I have this FAQ up to look up who's who, so I guess I can look at the controls while I'm at it.
Drop kick that fool out of the ring. Can I hit the ref?
I think you can bump the ref. I'm not sure about this particular. I actually own a complete copy of the Japanese version of this game, but this is one of the Fire Pro games I spent the least amount of time with. So I'm actually not sure if you can bump the ref. And also, they start to blur together after you've played a lot of them, so I don't know if you can bump the ref in this game specifically. Let's see. Okay. Controls. Let's see. While standing, A runs, B is a light strike, C is a medium strike, and A is a strong strike when in close range. When grappling, A is a medium grapple, B is a light grapple, and C is a strong grapple, or your finisher. And then if you hit up, down, left, or right, and B when grappling, that is an Irish whip.
Okay.
And I think pressing the directions will do other.
So how do I do my
grapples.
finisher?
The C button is your strong grapple or your finisher.
Okay, and do I have to earn finishers in this game, or is that what I'm just doing when I do?
No, you can do it, but they're easier to counter. Like you can do them right away, but there's a better chance that it'll get countered if you try doing it super fast. Oh, actually, wait a minute. Oh no, sorry. In this one, there actually is the meter located in the bottom left. A red meter or blue meter is used to perform a wrestler's finishing move. If the bar turns gray, you can't use your finishing move until it's replenished.
Okay, so I am doing my finisher then when I do that. I think
Let's
that's
see.
a German suplex, maybe.
Maybe. If you're Akira Maeda, let's take a look and see what the finisher is.
I am a black man with a dope ass mustache and a big crown.
You are
So
you are Robert Goulet.
no, I'm black
Capture
exploitation Jerry
suplex.
Waller.
The capture suplex is down and C. When you do front grapple, down and C is your finish. It's a capture suplex,
Okay.
which I think usually is like you grab their leg and
You capture them and then suplex them.
yes.
I think he just
usually,
did it to me. So
it's
this
usually a counter. Actually, if someone throws a kick at you and you catch their leg and like wrap your left arm around the back of their neck and then link your hands and suplex them, that's a capture suplex.
oh no, I don't know.
That and he just gave you a Northern Lights.
Yeah. How do I climb the rope?
Great move. Give me a second. I'll let you know.
In this place, in this time of day, memes.
Yes, contained entirely in this wrestling ring.
Yeah. I hate that that's a meme now because I used to think it was funny and now I hate it.
Oh, there we go. I got
The
my-
memes are funny. The ones that involve effort. The ones that involve effort are good.
I actually feel the opposite, which is the
I
ones that
agree.
are super lazy. I like way more than the ones where they're like, "Oh man, look at this cool thing I did." It's like, nah, dude, I'm not gonna fucking watch a 5-minute video.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend 5 minutes on this. I'll spend 30 seconds on it.
Exactly.
It can still be high
feel you.
effort, even if it's only 30 seconds.
I really appreciated the ghost trick one. That's all I have to say.
No, that was
I don't
too.
think I've seen that one.
That
too
one
much.
was too long.
Well, yeah, but you don't have to watch the whole thing to get the joke, right?
Then why? Yeah.
So in the direction of the turnbuckle and the C button climbs the turnbuckle.
Oh no!
Doesn't seem to be working.
I was in a lobby and I was trying to take a screenshot of a guy's stupid name and then the game crashed.
Oh, what was it?
Dr. Popcorn.
Okay.
Is that a PhD or an MD? Do you think?
I didn't ask.
Also, some wrestlers I think cannot
I like-
climb the
I like
turnbuckle.
those
Maybe this guy
scratches
doesn't.
you're
Maybe this
doing.
guy won't climb the turnbuckle then. It's possible.
Here's this a guy named Beans, and the bean is
When
it's
you
like
got
with
a-
a Z.
When you have a mustache
good.
like that, you don't want it to be. You don't want to be too high up because you don't want it to be like get
Mhm.
disheveled in the wind.
You're right.
A mustache like that stands up to the wind, Eric. Yes, it's a bummer that this game didn't come out because this was supposed to come out, I think, in '91 or early '92.
Yeah,
and
this game's pretty good, especially when you compare it to like the
WWF Super
other,
WrestleMania
or just any
or Royal Rumble.
Yeah, any
or...
wrestling game from the late '80s and early '90s. Like mostly they're garbage, and like this one is like totally fine. I think the moveset seems kind of limited a little bit, and
yeah, I mean, especially compared to Fire Pro World, when I mean, there are like hundreds of moves in that game, hundreds and hundreds of moves, and you have slots for, I think.
Yeah, but it's not.
I mean, it's a lot. You have a ton of move
controls,
slots for each character.
Yeah, the controls in this just feel pretty good.
I mean, anything that doesn't involve
I
just,
can
like,
do
mashing
stuff
buttons endlessly,
right?
like
yeah, like that's
to...
the problem with a lot of early wrestling games is that it's hard to do stuff. Like mostly those games, you kind of just resort to just punching and kicking constantly because actually doing any of the moves is a huge pain in the ass, and usually isn't worth the reward isn't worth the amount of trouble you have to go through to pull it off. Right.
I remember I played the last time I played.
Oh, I busted this dude
Royal
open.
Rumble. Yeah, you can bust guys open. I played WWF Royal Rumble for an episode of Same Name Different Game, like whatever, 6 years ago now. And I used a turbo controller to try to win the grapples, and on the default difficulty, even with a turbo controller, like the computer would just cheat its way into winning grapples, and I was just like, this is super dumb. This is the worst thing. Like,
it's actually not possible to hit buttons faster than this, and yet.
Yeah. Somehow I can't win when I have a machine cheating for me. So clearly the computer is cheating a lot on its own behalf. So. And we wouldn't get an actual Fire there. So because this was not released, there was not a Fire Pro Wrestling game released in the United States until Fire Pro Wrestling for the Game Boy Advance in 2001.
Interesting.
The first Fire Pro game to get a release in the United States.
Yeah, that's really bonkers because like that series has been around forever in Japan.
Yeah, it's the 20th anniversary is next year. 1989 on the PC Engine is when the first one came out.
So this guy I'm fighting right now, the one that is kind of like the Fu Manchu Bam Bam Bigelow or whatever. When
he's
stomping you and his face is turning left to right, it looks like there's a spider crawling across his face, which is really good. Like the transition of the perspective is really weird.
Yeah.
This is the game for Kurt.
Whereas my guy just looks fucking amazing no matter what.
It's true.
From every angle. You should be used to that, though, Eric.
Because for me, it's the opposite.
Not where I was going with that, but...
Yeah,
I want him to slap me again, because I really need to see the... There he is. There he
these
goes.
games also, I think,
Nice.
were some of the earliest, maybe not the earliest, but some of the earliest games to have all ladies wrestling. There's 3 Fire Pro games that are ladies only.
Right. Or just have like women characters in general.
Right.
I wonder what the first. I'm trying to think what the first US or WWE game or WWFE game was that had women wrestlers in it.
It was probably SmackDown.
Maybe.
I would
Well, no,
think.
it would have been.
No,
the
I think
N64 games had women in them. Some of the N64 games definitely had, because like.
Yeah, but I think, but SmackDown came out before the WWF. N64
Oh, you're talking about the
games.
PlayStation SmackDown.
Yeah, the very first one. But actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I think Warzone did not, but I think Attitude did.
In the you could create women characters in the create a character thing.
Yeah,
for sure.
And then and it might have had some. No, I think Sable was like Sable and Ivory.
Was in the first one.
I think we're in Attitude, not War. No, definitely not. Warzone is a super small roster.
Yeah,
but I think Attitude had.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna check because.
Yeah, you could just check. I mean, the internet's there. Fuck. Forgive us for not remembering the roster of the wrestling games from 20 years ago.
You guys are unprofessional.
Yeah.
19 years ago, technically. But,
okay,
yeah.
well, whatever. Fuck, man. The numbers keep getting bigger.
Yeah, no shit. The Dreamcast version was released several months after the PlayStation and N64 games.
Yeah. By the way, the
It featured
music in this
improved
game,
graphics.
music in this game is fantastic. Especially this track. It's not the it's not the same one all the time, but I like really digging this one. Oh.
Oh my god. Terrible at video games.
It's
You're
true.
terrible at video games?
Yeah.
You're great at
Sounds
life.
about right.
Oh, nice. Thank you.
You're great at being my friend, Alex.
Aw, you guys. Nice. Okay, I'm good at video games again.
Fuck everything else.
Let's see here. Character list.
Yeah, I will say that. So when I was searching for box art for this, I did find a somebody on Etsy, I think, made like a fake box art for it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna look for that.
But it was not as good as this advertisement from Mega Play. Oops. All right. Well, I'm gonna finish this match, and then
This one, okay, so it's not this. It can't be this one because this one is terrible. It's like a bad rip-off WrestleMania font, and it just is like in Hogan colors in WrestleMania font. It just says "Wrestling Superstars" starring Jesse the Body Ventura.
it
So
might be that one. I don't know. Like I said, it was not good. That's why I chose this advertisement.
Oh, it was okay. I thought you were just saying it wasn't as good as the ad, not that it was like.
No,
actually
it's also not good.
bad. Oh, here we go. I think I found it. Is it the one of him? No, so it's the same font. This is the boxed version, but it's a picture of him from probably 1980 and
Yes,
with, the
yeah,
bleach
that's
blonde
the one.
hair and
Yep.
yeah.
Look, man, if you're gonna make fake Jesse Ventura wrestling game box art, then at least pick an era appropriate Jesse Ventura.
Alright.
He should at least he should probably have a glowing blue hand, which is why they picked him for that role
Definitely.
in Abraxas, because that's how he looks in real life.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
They didn't have the budget to hide it.
No. Yeah, that's right. That movie was so cheap they couldn't hide his. They could hide one, but not the other. In real life, both of his hands glow blue.
So there were 3 lady wrestlers in WWF Attitude: Chyna, Sable, and Jacqueline.
Okay.
Were all unlockable hidden characters. There were no main roster. So SmackDown, I think, was the first one to have women just readily playable on the main roster. The other hidden characters, if you're curious, were Paul Bearer, Sergeant Slaughter, Jerry Lawler, Mark Marrow, Shawn Michaels, Taka Michinoku, Kurgan.
Like from Highlander?
Sadly, no. The trainer character, who is just like the dummy you beat up in the training mode, and Head, which, if I remember correctly, Head has an invisible body. It's just the head and
floating head.
hands and boots. Yeah.
It is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
That's tight.
What does everybody want?
Ned. Oh shit. That's the wrong display. Here we go.
As long as you don't switch to porn or something,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Even if you do.
Excellent.
Yeah, who cares?
Well, if Twitch catches us, that's not good for us.
Oh, I
Twitch
see.
ain't gonna catch me. So this is the issue of Mega Play.
The summer preview issue.
Mm-hmm. Get the first look at all the upcoming Genesis hits: Fantasia, Alien Storm, Sweet Smart, Road Rash, Wrestle War, GG
Fantasia.
Shinobi, GG Shinobi. What?
The Game Gear
Guilty
Shinobi.
Gear.
Oh, Game
Or,
Gear.
yeah.
Guilty Gear Shinobi.
Guilty Gear Shinobi.
Sorry.
I just
I'm
found
playing
out that
Dragon Ball. I'm in a Arc System headspace.
there's something I really want that I didn't know. I thought this was a British mag, but that's got a dollar
Mickey
sign. on
looks
the
like he
price,
wants
so-
something.
It does.
And he
Maybe
knows
it was.
exactly
Maybe there
what
was
it
an American version of this. You can also
Well, I
see
guess
what websites I visit the most. Giant Bomb. This Twitch channel, WWE Waypoint. There's a Lucy Dacus.
and a Lucy
song.
Dacus music video.
Yeah.
She's listened to a lot. Been listening to that a lot lately.
No,
or what?
but I
Is
didn't
that
have
just,
time.
Chrome being weird.
Well, it's a new song from the album that's coming out soon, but I didn't have time to listen to it, so I bookmarked it and then
Oh, so
forgot
you
to
just put
delete
it
it.
up there.
So, and then
Okay.
also Twitter and Giant Bomb TV, which is dope as hell. Anyway, let's see what else is in here.
Let's see what's in here. Yeah. Game Gear Shinobi, by the way, is super dope. That's
The
a
only
super fun
game to make the PGA Tour cut. Pack your bags, you're going on tour, but make it your golf bags, because it's PGA Tour Golf. The only game that lets you make the rounds with guys named Fuzzy, the Walrus, Hubie, and Fred.
Is that really what it says?
That's really what it says.
That's
It
fucking
says.
tight.
In sum,
Fuzzy Zeller's a good
60 of the
good
best
golfer.
players ever to swing a club, no matter how you slice it. Ding!
Ah,
It is. This is the most realistic Genesis TM golf game ever. Real players with hole-by-hole tips. Real courses like the TPC at Sawgrass and Avenel? I don't know.
Avenel?
What that is. 3D greens you can read like an open book. A whole arsenal of special shots like chips, punches, and free putts. Even putts was one of the ones on the list.
Yeah.
Even random pin placement. Oh my god, random pin placement. This game is like, it's golf but like a roguelike.
yeah, and if you get a bogey on a hole, you lose all your clubs and then have to go back and find them.
Oh man, these guys think Gary is awesome. I don't know who this guy is, but he is a super rad motherfucking dude from the 90s.
Oh man, I love this ad.
Look at this. In quotes it says, "I happen to agree." There you have it.
Yeah. He was like a pro gamer or something, I think. The critics agree that Gyarados is one of the hottest games around. In fact, once Dr. Dave of Game Pro magazine got his hands on the 8 meg fighting power of Gyarados, he gave it a perfect ah
Out of
and stated novice space jockeys need not apply. And then Eric zoomed in the thing, so I can't read the ad copy anymore.
They said games just don't get any better than this. Gary's is phenomenal. 8 meg of incredible graphics put in a league all its own. If you thought the lava in TF-3 was intense, wait till you see the hyperspace scene. Ah!
You know what the pros think. Why is pros with an apostrophe? That
The
doesn't make
lava
sense.
in TF3? What's TF3? Is that a game? Is that an abbreviation? Or is there a game?
Team Fortress 3, dude.
Oh,
No,
right.
I think that's
forgot
a
Team Fortress
stage.
3 came out in 1991.
Yeah, I think that's a stage, and Gyarados is actually a pretty fun game, but like...
I believe you. But no, but you wouldn't reference a thing from the game in a review about the game, right? You would compare
Thunder
it to...
Force 3. Thunder Force 3.
Okay, yeah, there you go. We played that on this, right?
We did.
I'm pretty sure I
We
gave it a
played
thumbs up. Thunder Force 3 is good.
You did. You definitely did.
And it does have intense lava, so...
The intense
this all
lava
checks
scene,
out.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a really good
Checks
review.
out.
Christmas 1991, boom or bust.
Oh, wow.
This is on the stream. This is like really weirdly...
Oh, this is...
You got this really
these are-
oddly positioned, so it's hard to read.
Sorry.
If this was late 90s, you'd scroll down past that and you'd see like a girl's like chest.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But this is early 90s, so I was prepared
Ed
for the
Semrad
worst.
was the editor. And Steve
Oh, so
Harris
this was
the
an
editor.
EGM
So this
spin-off
is an
book.
EGM
That's right.
thing,
Yeah, that's right. It didn't last very long, if memory serves. Also, how was it only 48 pages? Like, those old EGMs are like fucking phone books.
Yeah. Attack first, ask questions later.
Super Famicom came out in
Saga
November
3,
1990, and
Sagaya.
sources have indicated that Mega Drive sales have not decreased. Of course, the Mega Drive sold like fucking hot shit
sorry.
garbage in Japan, so...
Also, it's really good in this thing here where it says, granted, the Big N will throw hundreds of millions in advertising for its new S-NES, which is really good. I'm gonna start spelling it that way.
Oh no. Does that mean
SNES?
that mean you won't call it SNES? You SNES.
SNES.
Okay.
I've heard that one. People
Yeah, I've heard
have
that
actually
too.
commented on YouTube videos saying that they don't like that I say NES and SNES, that like bothers them.
You should
I don't
say
like
it either,
SNES
but
and
not enough to leave a
NES.
comment.
Right. But then I'm like, people who say SNES are way worse than
I mean, the answer is just to say Super Nintendo.
yeah, that's a lot more syllables though.
I know, but it just like that's how you should just say
Do you
it.
have somewhere to be?
Yes. Yes.
He has a word limit. He has to stay under.
No, actually when I'm writing a script, I try not to say like I try to mix it up. So
Yeah,
I
not
say
to say
like
the same words
Super
over and
NES, Super Nintendo,
So now say
I
SNES.
think
You
I would
know,
say that when it
that
comes
just bothers
to
me too
when it
much.
comes to the written word, that's more important than it is when you're speaking, though.
See, I actually think it's more important when you're speaking because I feel like if I say SNES, 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 like
Yeah, but
4
if you say
times in a
Super
paragraph,
Nintendo,
you know,
I don't know.
it just
Anyway.
feels, I don't know.
Just
Well,
say
yeah,
the best
right.
system
It
ever.
feels to me, it feels more conversational, so I'm less like that stuff jumps out at me less than if I'm reading something.
Being able to turn the Game Gear into a TV is a nice feature, but I don't want to wait until winter to get one. If I buy the Japanese one from a mail order store, will it work in my American Game Gear?
I was just reading the reply to that one.
There really is a white. So I just did a bunch of Game Gear research because I did a video on the Game Gear, and the only color variant that was out in the U.S. was there was a Sega Sports Edition that was blue.
But I like,
They're all black, and then in Japan they got like fucking 12 colors. There was like a
but
magic.
only in Japan for now.
special
I'm sure Sega of America is watching the sales of this special item very closely.
They're not, or maybe they are, and they decided
They
it
just
wasn't
can't do
worth it.
anything. Right.
yeah.
Warrior
But the
of
tuner,
Rome. Hey, that's
the
another
TV
game
tuner.
that we've covered for this.
I believe you said that one Genesisn't, if
Yeah.
my memory serves.
Oh no, was that the one I played, or was that the Julius? Maybe it was Julius.
No, I
Caesar
think
thing.
it was
Orange
Was
Julius.
I think it was.
Maybe that was it. I don't remember now. It
Orange
was a
Julius.
Julius Caesar
Caesar.
like strategy game for the Genesis.
Oh, also, I like at the end of the letters
Strategy games.
page there was a thing about releasing Wrestle War for the
Wrestle
Genesis.
Wait, go back
update.
up. Go back
and
up.
hey,
Up where?
guess what? Wrestle
One
War.
more. We'll hire
Wrestle
it.
War is
No,
another.
To the advertisement or to
Yeah,
the letters?
to the ad.
What's
At
what
the
do you-
bottom. I want to see the bottom of it. Little more. There's
He's
a
all the
delay,
way.
so
He's
this is the
gone
problem.
past the end of the ad by this point.
Distributor BigNet USA.
Okay.
That's
They
That's
also
a good-
produce fishing gear. High tech Sega. Sega and RGB. Is it worth the cost? RGB
Since
versus
all you have to do
composite.
is get a. So one, yes.
In the
Maybe-
RGB
maybe-
mode, you can read
maybe
the
in
"Don't Walk"
1991,
sign in
no.
Genesis Batman.
That's true. I can confirm that. In 1991, probably didn't make that much of a difference
No.
because American TVs didn't have SCART ports.
your
so like,
TVs fucking sucked back then. So
is that even RGB? Or are they talking about S video? It looks like they're actually talking about S video.
yeah, it looks like an
and
S video
saying-
cable down here. Yeah,
it's
but-
actually called Super Video.
It is.
I
It's
get
true.
it.
That's actually true, though, isn't it? Isn't that what the S stands for?
Well, here at EGM, we use $4,000 broadcast monitors. You can expect
They
similar
do.
results from the monitors
The
such
S
as the
stands for
Commodore.
quality.
Thank you.
Hey, it's Kurt Adam. What's up, Kurt?
So
Mike
on
Adams.
on a PVM or a BVM,
to be the man, you
that-
gotta beat
that actually does
the
make a
man.
difference.
Street smart. Nope, that's
Wait,
not.
what?
That's a picture of Ric Flair right there. There he is with his
Yep,
boxing
right there.
gloves and his bald head and his giant chin
That's not a very good game.
and his
by the way.
bulging. There's Space Mountain right there.
Street Smart is an early SNK arcade fighting game, and it's like it's a one-on-one fighting game, but it uses like Final Fight style mechanics. So actually, it's kind of like a wrestling game in a way. So it's like
Thank
it's
you
like a
for
false
circling that.
perspective, thing.
I love this Megatrix
Mhm.
thing. That's really good.
Waste the Gulfer leader and save planet Earth.
So do you two, since you're the
Powerball.
only ones who are on this show consistently, do you
Uh-huh.
refer to yourselves as Twin Cobra?
Yeah, I'm Cobra number 1 and
should.
Joe's Cobra number 2.
I'm Cobra number 2.
I'm Cobra 1. He's Cobra A. We don't have to. Nobody's ahead of
Like is that like a Canadian, like Cobra A, like Canadian? No.
Cobra A.
Where do you turn to for the first info on electronic gaming reviews, gossip, tricks, previews, high scores, and international news? Pick up the phone and become a video VIP.
1-900-740-7722. Has anybody got a phone
Oh
handy?
my god.
It's only $1
Hold on,
per
I'll
I
minute.
think we
I'll
all
dial
have
it.
a phone handy. It's only $1 per minute.
Yeah, you should definitely call it Psychic World, Batman,
1-900-909-9900.
Phallus 3.
Guys, I have an idea for you.
How do
but
you play video games? Question mark, question mark. Oh, do you play video games?
Do you play
Like,
video games?
I want to play like a pro. Renovation.
$23.95 for a full year of EGM doesn't seem that bad, but then I feel like magazines today don't cost any more than that.
No.
Like, there's been the magazine industry has been
$24
stagnant
for a
so
full
much
year.
that
Yeah,
Plateaued.
there's a lot.
for-
Of,
yeah,
I feel like there are magazines you can still subscribe to for like $20.
yeah.
Fantasia, Megafile, manufacturer, Sega,
Fantasia.
Sega System, Genesis, cartridge
Suck.
size 4 meg. Number of
Remember when
levels,
4 meg was
13.
big? Remember when Strider was the biggest cartridge video game ever produced and it was 8 megs?
Yeah, wasn't that like $120 when it came out or something?
No, you're thinking of Phantasy Star 4. That was much bigger.
Oh, wow.
But
Difficulty moderate. Number of players 1. Available July 1991. Rock with Bach and
small
BT.
magic, large magic.
I don't know if you ever played Fantasia for the Sega Genesis.
It's terrible. It's like the only Disney game on the Genesis that's bad.
We played
rest of
Little
them are all pretty
Mermaid,
good.
and that was not very good.
Oh yeah, Little Mermaid's I think better than Fantasia.
Oh,
It's definitely the only Mickey
All right,
Mouse
maybe
game
we'll
on
find
the
out
Genesis
next
that's
week.
bad. Yeah, maybe we'll find out. You don't want to find out.
Alien Storm.
You'd rather play
probably
Alien
will,
Storm or Gyarados.
I have not played Alien Storm yet, but we will at some point.
I believe that's Alien
things.
Storm.
Oh, look at this. So here's this. So here's this bat. There's this ad here for something bat, but I will find
Bath?
out.
I
Bat,
have no idea what.
Bath something.
Batman.
Bath beads.
And beyond.
Bath salts.
Street-Smart Guide. Die Hard Gamers Club. That's me.
Here's the guide I have for Street Smart. Don't play Street Smart. How much were used games going for? In wow, holy shit, dude!
Mega Drive prices.
Look at the
start
prices on
$39.99.
those games.
Prices start at PC Engine $50 for used games.
Yeah.
Game
Super
Gear, call
Graphics
for
games.
prices.
1941 Counterattack for the Super Graphics was $94.99.
$180 for a Mega Drive. For
What year was
used
this? Is
Mega Drive.
91,
Wait,
right?
wait, under other stuff, Die Hard hats for $4.99.
Sorry?
Die Hard hats.
God damn it. Can we still get some of those? I'd pay $5 for a Die Hard hat.
Me too.
You know, that's a Die Hard Gamers Club hat, right?
No, that's
Not
the
not an
licensed
official movie
merchandise
tie-in.
Yeah, no, it's
It just
signed
has a
by-
picture of Ellis getting shot on it.
It just says Booby on it.
Movie hat.
So
it says it's a Rolex.
You can get Strider
If
for
you
the
were to
Super
buy-
Graphics for $94.99.
except you couldn't because that game never came out.
Holy
but
shit, man.
Didn't it?
But if you were to pay for 1941, which did come out, if you were to pay that, that's the equivalent to $178.36 in today's money.
Is this where Anthony tells us that you can't do that?
I think you can do that.
Okay.
Like
Here's
people
the thing.
complain about video games being too expensive and like DLC and stuff, and it's like, yo, dog, video games in 1991
Yeah,
cost
video games are-
$178.
The problem is video games are way too cheap now.
Yes.
That's why we have to put up with all that bullshit.
Those Neo
Although
Geo
I don't know
games
if the-
actually
like,
cost the
if- even
exact
if they-
same as what they did
At
back
this
in
point,
the
even if
day.
they raise the prices, the bullshit wouldn't go away. But
Yeah,
Yeah,
'cause we
that's
were-
the problem,
I
right?
watched-
The problem
I'm
is if
trying to
they
remember-
raise the price to $80, they would still
I,
charge for a shitload of DLC.
I watched a video where somebody was talking about it was pretty interesting actually. It was about the origins of like EA and microtransactions and the FIFA games that came out in Europe and stuff. And the guy was like, actually video games don't cost more now because EA spends less money per year making video games than they did 10 years ago. But then what he forgot to do is look at how many games EA released 10 years ago versus how many games they released in 2016. And in 2016, they put out like 4 games, and 10 years ago, they put out like 20 games. And so, like, they haven't increased the amount that they're spending per year developing
Right, but just
games, but they're only putting out a tiny handful of the games that they used to.
Yeah, it's so weird. EA's put out
and
like
so it's
20,
like-
like 20
right,
games a year.
right. The amount of the amount of money that they spend per game has skyrocketed, and
Right.
and I
That's
and
why
I
they're
understand.
making less games.
Right, and I understand why people should be pissed off about microtransaction stuff because it's all bullshit. Most of it is bullshit.
Microtransactions are different than DLC, right? Like,
well, I'm talking about
when
I'm talking about like
consumable
loot boxes
item
or like
for-
the stuff that was in the new
Loot-
Battlefront.
You're talking about
game.
predatory shit.
Right.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really bad shit. Like a lot of that stuff is really, really horrible. But the idea that, like, whatever, like when people
You-
say, "Oh,
you can't
video
equate
games
slot
cost a lot
machines.
more to make now than they used to," like that's true, and they
Right.
do need to find ways to pay for that. And
But-
like the DLC as it was like 10 years ago was pretty much totally fine.
Yeah,
but
but how much of that is their fault, right? Like nobody said
Right,
like
no, I know.
hold a gun to their head and
Right.
said developers
It's-
make
it's the
games
same
for
thing
$300 million
with,
dollars.
Right. It's the same thing with
You know?
movies, is that like all the money in Hollywood has been consolidated into superhero movies, and that's why that's pretty much all we see these days. And it really
Well, the problem
sucks.
is that there's no. I read an article from. I'm trying to remember where
But at
it
least
was.
in video games, like the indie scene is just
Yeah,
fucking
alive
boiling
and-
over with an infinite number of really good and interesting games to play, so it's not an issue. But anyway,
There was an interesting article on, I think it was Stereo Gum, like 2 years ago, about how mid-budget movies just don't get made anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's either like low-budget movies or
Right,
giant
or blockbusters,
tentpole
yeah.
blockbusters, and like no movies get made for like $20 million anymore, and like those,
Right.
that's like a kind of a loss.
Shinobi on the Gobi.
That
I
game
see
that.
that is a terrible lead-in, but that game
Does that game take place in
is-
the desert?
no, it doesn't.
Okay.
How
How about with
I
a,
get it.
with a fish?
But
Let me say this: the layout on all these pages is just awful.
it's hideous.
What?
Well, they were imitating Famitsu, I think. in a
I
lot
know
of
it's
ways,
just
right?
it's awful.
Game
It's awful.
Tronic.
EGM eventually moved away from that, and like diehard game fan doubled down on it.
Yeah,
Coming
like,
attractions.
Dude, Game Fans layouts kicked ass.
What's the
That
war?
magazine was great.
Streets of
Yeah,
Rage.
okay.
Man, this coming
You're like,
attraction is Streets of Rage.
Hell yeah.
Experience the ultimate in two-player kung fu action. That's still true. Actually, sorry, Streets of Rage 2 is the ultimate.
Almanac.
Do the colored letters in that ad up there like spell a secret message?
Which one?
yeah, help me.
Which ad?
Further up.
No, you can't use
That
the
one.
stream.
The
You have to
gain
use
for
ground.
kids.
The gain ground.
Fun for
one,
kids for all ages.
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gain ground one.
I don't know, I must have scrolled past that a while ago.
It was under coming attractions.
Okay. Oh, right here, this one. FODAE. Food Day.
Fude.
Yeah.
Food day.
Well, maybe it's an anagram. Maybe you have to rearrange the letters.
The substitution cipher.
DOAFE. DOAF.
There's a Polybius square somewhere that will.
FODA.
If you wear polarized glasses, there's actually text in between the gain ground tabs.
Put on the glasses.
Cross reference. Yeah.
Spider-Man, Woody Pop.
I mean, they're
just
wearing
fucking
glasses.
dead.
It's all right there, man.
Which
Did you say Woody
magazine
Pop?
has the best info on Japanese games and systems? Introducing
just say Woody
Super
Pop?
Gaming.
Yes, Woody Pop. He scrolled past a review of Woody Pop. For
I bet he
Game
would.
If you
Gear.
want to see it.
E Pop.
Woody Pop, Sega / Game Gear.
Super
Sega.
Gaming.
I mean,
I
once
don't
it's
think that's a
Pop,
magazine
then
that even lasted
need
more
to
than
keep
like
going.
a minute.
Sega has
I-
dug deep into their
Woody Pop.
archives to get Woody Pop, as this soft one was one of their very first. What?
This soft.
is
So
this
they
soft?
use they
Woody
use
Pop?
soft.
Soft as
Soft as a term for
Software?
Cartridge.
Yeah, I understand.
Software,
I mean,
yeah.
I figured it out, but fuck, man.
These softs are great, man.
I'm gonna start calling all video games softs from now on.
Yeah,
Well,
let's do
you're-
I'm gonna drive to New York and punch you so hard.
that. Aren't you that you were in New York?
I never saw
I
production.
am. I'm gonna drive to upstate New York,
All right.
which I
West-
found out
Western New
is
York.
everything that isn't New York City.
No, that is only from the perspective of the shitheads that live in New York City. Fuck
Not
that.
according to Wikipedia.
Yeah,
More
well,
than
So
look
you
at-
don't. So you
That's-
don't use the term steamed hams where you're
No,
from.
nope. Upstate New York is to like Albany and south, and
Utica.
anything farther west than that would be Western New York, or the Southern Tier if you're farther south, or the Adirondack region.
Is the
anyway.
southern tier like god tier or shit tier or mid tier?
That's where they get all the snow.
It's
Oh.
it-
I thought
it's
you were where they got all the snow.
it's the Lost Hopers.
We get
that,
some snow.
The Lost Causers. That's the southern tier.
Yeah, so the Southern Tier gets like we get a little bit of lake effect from both lakes, but Southern Tier gets hammered by lake effect from Lake Erie constantly. Like that's where all the ski country is, unless you go north to the mountains where there's also a ton of snow. Anyway,
That makes sense.
yeah, it's weird. Are these reviews or previews or
These are previews.
Okay.
These are previews.
I don't see any reviews in this. I was kind of
Woody Pop is an
here,
Arcanine.
mega reviews. Okay, we gotta. This video is super fucking
Woody
long.
Pop is a.
That's fine.
This has
is
turned
fun.
into
Hell of a
into
phrase.
something other than a Genesis or Genesis. I'm not exactly sure
But it's all
what,
still Genesis related.
Genesis isn't.
They're very. They're
This
very
Genesis
fucking-
isn't a Genesis or Genesis.
They were very fucking generous to Strider on the Master System. I'm just
PGA
gonna put
Tour
that out there
golf.
right now.
Dave, Mike, GOG, and Bart. Who's GOG? This is okay if you're into golf
And
games.
Bart.
The graphics are kind of cheesy.
Genesis.
This game can eat my shorts, man.
I get it.
Yeah.
A very good golf game! Exclamation point.
Wow.
Hard to have. It's hard to have a really like strong critical take on a video game in 50 words.
4
You
sentences.
can feel the 4 mega power in every scene. You can feel it.
I don't think I've ever played
Four
any video
mega
game where I'm like,
power.
man, I can really feel the power.
I can feel it.
Alex, are you still playing
That's
Dragon
because
Ball?
you're old and jaded.
I am still playing Oh, you're right.
Hold down A and X and tell me if you don't fucking feel the
You
fucking
can't
power.
feel the power.
Is your
All
power
right.
over 9,000, Alex?
No, but it will be if I do that.
Midnight
He's right.
Resistance, Twin Cobra.
Midnight Resistance is pretty dope, but the arcade version used a rotary joystick, and the Genesis version tried admirably to give you like 3 different options to imitate that, but none of them quite work.
Yeah.
Is that giant red head like barfing something out?
I think
It
you're
barfs out like
you're-
brains or
yeah,
something.
It's a tiny little thing. I'm watching it. I'm looking at it on my phone. So
Yeah.
very small.
It's pretty small even on the stream. So
These
Yeah.
reviewers are pretty
Twin
generous,
Cobra.
I think, for some of these games.
Smart. Well, remember
That's
this
because
is,
they're hopped up on goofballs, man.
Yeah.
They're like strung out on
Like
coke.
Street Smart, giving Street Smart on the
7.
Genesis a 7 is
good. As a martial arts fan, I wasn't terribly impressed with the gameplay, but the animation and music are excellent. Unfortunately, even on the highest level, this game is easy to defeat, and he still gave it a 7.
I'm gonna start saying that too. I'm gonna bring that one back.
10, right? So
I defeated
really a 6 or a
Godhand
7
the other
is
day.
nothing. Yeah.
I think with God Hand, it's worth using that word.
Yeah, fair enough.
Hey, Mike.
That game fucking rules. By
I'm
the
going
way,
to tell you if this magazine Genesis or Genesis isn't worth your time, I guess.
I really occasionally like leafing through old gaming.
I have a
magazines.
torrent of
It's
all
sort of-
the I have a torrent of all the Nintendo powers.
The thing that blows my mind is that people are like, gaming journalism is so. I mean, there's people who have a very specific outlook on life.
Well, that's
who are
because
like,
they
"Gaming
want this.
journalism
They want
now
this
is in the
garbage that
toilet."
we're making
But
fun
do
of
they-
right now.
I
They
feel
want
like they
this. This is the
don't-
garbage that they want.
I feel like they don't remember this. Like they don't realize. Like no, it used to be like literally like 3 sentences in a box.
for them, they're probably younger than us, and
Like-
so what they want is like the 10,000 word IGN review where they like go like over the
Go deep.
Every
they,
single
like,
detail of the game.
right in a way.
Here's
that,
how you play the game.
Right.
Press
But nothing
X,
about
press
nothing
the
about
game.
it.
and also uses like
or any
really right. It uses
symbolism
really
or-
annoying passive voice to describe things that aren't objective in a way that sort of pretends to be objective.
Coffee said fans of the genre will
How you
like
make
this
things
genre.
scientific is with passive
Thank you,
voice.
Coffee. You're right.
Yes,
Coffee
Coffee,
nailed
you're
it.
correct. I don't think that this is a
Powerball
great.
is pretty good.
This is that great of a sports game. The graphics and sound are very good, but there's nothing to the gameplay. It's kind of like soccer and cyberball put together. There's your
the fuck is
objective game
Cyberball?
review.
That's totally average, though. Apparently,
That's right dead in the middle.
Fantasy Star 3. Which
Fire
was, I don't
Joe
think I've
Wrestling
ever-
said
I don't think
uses
I've
the
ever
two
played any
polar
Phantasy
genres
Star
of video
3.
games and playing video games.
I played some Fantasy Star 1. I played through like 10-ish hours of both Fantasy Star 2 and Fantasy Star 4, but
2 and 4 are supposed to be. 3 is kind of the black sheep. I feel.
oh,
Of the
look at
series.
man, this fucking magazine gave it an average of like 8.2.
I
So
feel like we'd have to dedicate like a month of installments of this or more of this show to if I was like, we're gonna play Fantasy
yeah,
Star 4.
RPGs are pretty tough. Even
We're gonna play
like,
it every night.
we've done some
every
action
Wednesday
RPGs,
for.
like we did Crusader of Senti and
But even then, you went back and played more
I
of
finished
that.
Crusader of Senti. That game's
Oh,
fantastic.
you finished it now?
Yeah, I would give it at least I would give it an objective like 8 or 8.5 out of 10. I would say.
Didn't,
Can you give us a 3-sentence review that will fit in a tiny
An
box with a red
objective.
number behind
an
it?
objective 8? What's your subjective?
This game is a not so Crusader of Senti is a not so great Zelda.
Oh, I remember Game Over. And they used
Didn't
to post
somebody,
the screenshots of the endings to games at the
Hey,
end
this is a
because they
Valve
knew
game.
you
How
wouldn't
long has
finish
been
every
born in
game.
it? Oh wait, that's
Didn't one of the
This is
people
pre-
yeah, I know.
on the Genesis draft pick that game?
Which one?
Crusader
Crusader
City.
Yeah, Ray Barnholt. It was his
That's what I was
first
thinking.
pick.
Yeah.
It's good. It's really good.
It was like number 3 overall in the on-the-stick Genesis video game draft.
It was
There
a
you go.
defensive pick.
Having just played, I love that style of game, and having recently played some Zelda,
Airbuster is
it's definitely
so
not
hot.
on the Zelda Link to the Past level, but it's also
But that's
having
That's
also
a high bar, dude.
well, having also recently played Secret of Mana, I would say that game is definitely better than Secret of Mana.
Secret of Mana gets by mostly on charm.
Yeah, it looks
And-
really good. It has some
and
really
see-
weird,
charming.
it has some really
multiplayer.
weird, interesting music, but the combat is just like it's all you do is stun lock enemies or they stun lock you, and it's just not super engaging or fun.
There was something else I played or saw recently where it was like, oh, Crossing
Here we go,
Souls.
Jesse the Body, Ventura. Oh yeah, that's
Crossing
the one.
Souls-
That's the one from the Rogue Legacy people.
No, it's from a Spanish developer called Four.
Oh no, Crossing Souls is the one that has all the '80s nostalgia.
It's super 80s nostalgia, yeah.
It's
and
like
the and
4
the
characters.
combat system
Oh,
is
Ready
very
Player One.
similar.
What are we talking about?
No, it's way
It's-
not as
it's-
obnoxious
it-
as Ready Player One.
I watched the Giant Bomb quick look of it, and it's like a few steps behind Ready Player One.
There's a quick look of Ready Player One.
No, of Crossing Souls.
Of Crossing Souls.
Anyway,
but it
let's-
has the same like meter mechanic that which is why I haven't I liked what I've played of it so far because I kickstarted it, but I haven't picked it back up. I set it down to play through all of God Hand,
Yeah.
and I haven't picked it back up because that style of combat just doesn't really sit right. Like I don't love that whole like I have an action bar and once I deplete it, I just can't do anything.
Yeah.
That's hats off to you, by the way, Joe, because I went back to replay God Hand a couple of years ago, and I found that game a little hard to get back into.
I actually liked it more than I think I did the first time I played it. I was
definitely
like loving
did
it. I was loving every second of it.
All
I
right,
feel
this
like
is
you really got to give yourself to God Hand.
this is the final page of this magazine. So
The Jesse the Body Head is the last page. That's fantastic. All right, well, so you'd say that it's a shame that... Wait, hang on. Sorry, I need to read the ad copy. Take on Jesse the Body, one of the largest, strongest, and meanest wrestling superstars ever to crush heads in the ring. Now you scrolled away from it.
it'll
There
be
we go.
back.
Play alone or with a friend in a champion match. A championship match, you mean?
There's
An
no boats.
exhibition
There's no boats. I
or
played
a
that game. There's no boats.
Or a no hold barred, not no holds barred.
Well, no holds barred is,
tag team match
Is actually trademarked
I think-
property of Tiny
WWE
Lister.
and New Line
just,
Cinema.
Nope, just Tiny Lister. Actually, he owns that.
Okay, jump in the ring as a wrestling superstar
Also, there's no space between the period on match and jump.
and jump. Yeah,
Yeah.
I noticed that. Yep.
I like how it gives the address for DreamWorks, just in case.
Yeah. Yep. I think a lot of the ads do. If we don't need to scroll back through all of them, but I think in those days a lot of them did.
Anyway,
And filling out the comment cards was how you got like free swag and stuff. You'd fill out the magazine comment card and like tick the boxes for all the ads you liked or whatever, and they would send you shit.
that's Mega Play. I would say that Genesisn't a great magazine. I would say
all
that
those
Jesse
magazines
the
weren't
Body
that great.
Ventura Wrestling Superstars. Genesis is pretty solid though. It's
Nice.
Sorry.
Whoa.
what the fuck
Sorry.
is going on?
I have jury duty tomorrow, and I set an alarm like 2 weeks ago.
Are you on the
Wake you
grand
up at
jury?
Remind me-
10:45 and
No, just so that I would remember. Oh yeah,
okay.
tomorrow morning you're going to jury duty, not like to work.
okay.
And I forgot to turn it off. So I
Anyway,
apologize.
that was a solid for a
Are you
wrestling
on
game.
Mueller's grand jury?
No,
Would you tell me if you were?
no.
Okay, then. I'll understood.
I get it.
Yeah, thanks.
So-
Not on
Years
the
of
jury.
friendship apparently
Yeah.
mean nothing.
Wink.
Anyway, for a wrestling game of this vintage, I would say it's pretty fucking good.
Absolutely.
But wrestling games back then sucked balls, so
A lot of them were terrible. Really bad.
take that with a grain of salt. But if you're looking for a classic wrestling game that you probably haven't touched before, like this is definitely one worth checking out. Anyway, that's Genesis or Genesisn't. This was like twice as long as it should have been, but
This was an hour-long episode of Genesis.
we spent 25 minutes on the game and 35 minutes reviewing this magazine. I think it was worth
But
it.
we had fun.
Yeah. All right, that's it. We'll be back next week, probably with something else. Maybe
Possibly.
Fantasia.
Gaiaris, and we'll put the ad instead of the box art for Gaiaris too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Pronounced Guy